What happened when I opened the letter meant for my husband? I thought my mother-in-law was perfect, until I discovered the truth about my husband's birth. For years, I believed my mother-in-law, Eleanor, was the picture of perfection. Her home looked like something out of a high-end lifestyle magazine. Everything always in its place, not a speck of dust to be found. Her clothes were impeccable, her makeup flawless, and her words carefully chosen, wrapped in politeness but often edged with something sharper underneath. Every month, my husband Liam and I made the familiar drive to visit her, and every month she welcomed us with the same warm, well-rehearsed greeting. "Oh, my dear, I've been waiting for you," she would exclaim, standing tall at the front door in a perfectly tailored suit. Her silver-streaked hair was always styled in a tight, controlled bun, not a strand out of place. Her skin glowed in a way that made me think she either spent a fortune on skincare or simply willed herself into looking that composed. When she hugged me, it was always the same light, distant, and accompanied by an air kiss that never quite landed. She would then turn her attention to Liam with a fond but critical eye. "Liam, darling, you've lost weight again. Is this how your wife feeds you?" she would ask sweetly, with a tone that was sugar-coated yet somehow left a bitter taste in my mouth. I would smile even if it felt forced. Everything in Eleanor's world was just a little too perfect, too polished. It always seemed like we were guests in a carefully constructed scene, not family sharing time together. That weekend began no differently than the others. The house smelled faintly of lavender and lemon polish. Liam dropped his coat on the pristine, white sofa, a move that I could tell made Eleanor flinch inside, though she didn't say a word. Dinner was served with silver cutlery, matching plates, and polite conversation. Nothing out of the ordinary, just another well-rehearsed evening. But later that night, as the house settled into silence, I went into the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea. It was a small thing, a moment of quiet, but it turned into something much bigger. As I reached for a mug on the higher shelf, my elbow brushed against the napkin holder, and it fell with a sharp clatter onto the floor. When I bent down to pick it up, I noticed something odd. There was a small, barely visible drawer in the sideboard, one that had been left slightly open. I didn't remember seeing it before. At first I hesitated, but curiosity got the better of me. Slowly, I slid the drawer open. Inside, tucked away in the shadows, was a single envelope, yellowed with age and sealed tightly. The handwriting on the front was elegant, old-fashioned. It read, "To Liam, from your father." My heart skipped a beat. Liam's father had supposedly died before he was born. That's what Eleanor had always told us. It was a story she repeated with certainty, the kind that doesn't invite questions. According to her, he had passed away tragically young, an accident, a loss, a closed chapter, but this envelope suggested something different, something hidden. A chill crept down my spine as I held the letter in my hands. I didn't open it, not yet, but I knew this wasn't something I could ignore. There were secrets in this house, and this letter, this quiet, fragile envelope, held one of them. I didn't tell Liam right away. Instead, I told Eleanor we would stay a little longer that weekend. She smiled and said she was pleased, but I could sense the shift in her. Maybe she already knew I had found something. Maybe she had been guarding this secret for years. I kept thinking about Liam, how he had grown up without a father, how he had imagined what it would be like to have one. I remembered once, after a friend's father took them all fishing, he had said to me quietly, if my dad were alive, he'd take me fishing too. I had brushed it off back then, thinking it was just a wistful thought. But now, holding that letter, I wondered if it had been more than a dream, if his father had been alive, somewhere, somehow, and if Eleanor had kept that truth from him. I looked around that spotless house, the place where every detail was carefully controlled, and I realized that beneath all the perfection, something had always been hidden. And now, I was ready to uncover it. If my dad could see me now, Liam would mutter under his breath during soccer games, brushing the dirt off his jersey after a rough tackle. There was always a wistful note in his voice, like he was speaking to someone who had only ever existed in dreams. He never knew his father, only stories his mother told him, wrapped in ribbons of nostalgia and silence. My husband was gentle and open-hearted, the kind of person who always saw the good in people. He was kind, sometimes a little naive, and still held on to a childlike wonder about the world.